Okay, it's the 7th of May and this little oak is still pushing out leaves and new shoots, and you can see another one there that needs pinching out, and just continue doing that throughout the growing season. There's a branch here. I'm going to let it elongate a little further, and then I'll pinch it. You do want these sort of buds which are developing under the leaves to grow a little before you pinch, otherwise the tree's got to develop new ones or new ones from scratch rather than use the existing ones. But all in all, it's getting there, this tree. I'm quite pleased with its performance so far this year. It's the 17th of May and the little oak tree is growing away quite nicely. I'm going to have to think about maybe doing some leaf pruning in another month or so. The leaves are beginning to get out of proportion, which is a bit of a nuisance, but can't be helped at this point. But it is looking quite nice, even though I do say so myself. Sad that we lost some of the footage from earlier in the year, which would have made it a more satisfactory timey-wimey video, but there's no good crying over spilt milk, as one of my subscribers quite rightly pointed out. So it's the 4th of June, and I can't remember, there's been a timey-wimey video, I can't remember whether I'd actually put the Coke can in for scale on this little oak tree, and so here it is. This was grown from seed, if I didn't say that, and we're still getting some new little shoots popping out here and there, some gorgeous little new leaves. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to try and take the wire off. We've had a little bit of dieback, but that's okay. Not ideal, but very little point in crying over it. And where the tree has died back, it will no doubt back bud to make up for it. The tree seems to be holding its position quite nicely. There we go. I know the books say cut it off, but once again I'm going to point out I'm too much of a Scrooge to do that. I'm going to leave this large gauge wire on the main trunk alone. It's obviously not cutting in as yet, I can see that, and the main trunk may not have set just yet. Oh dear, poet if I did but know it. So just snip off that dead piece, and that dead piece, and there we have it. Hopefully you can see those gorgeous red leaves just coming out. So the tree is back budding quite happily and quite healthily. So it's the 28th of June and the little oak tree is shooting out quite nicely. I'm going to put a little piece of wire on this branch which is growing straight towards the front, and I'd really rather it didn't. I'm keeping my eye on this piece of wire, and so far it doesn't appear to be cutting in, so I'm going to leave that be. Move the can out of the way. place that bit of wire alongside the existing wire. Rather loosely around this piece, and then I can just bring that over like so, so it's not interfering with this branch, but is no longer growing straight out. And then I'm going to remove a couple of pieces that have started to bother me over the last few weeks, which is that one. So I'm going to remove, and then I'm going to bend that branch down a little more. That's better. I'm going to remove here. We have two branches, one directly above the other, and I had thought I could ignore it, but I can't. I'm going to take off the top piece, and I'm going to shorten that bit, and shorten these new growths that are coming out back here and there, and that piece. Yeah, there we go. Okay, going to pop it back on the bench for a while longer, and we'll come back and look at it in a month or so. It's the 13th of June, and this little oak tree is doing its little thing. The new leaves are coming through this splendiferous array of reds and yellows and greens, making the tree really quite attractive. I'm going to leave the wire on. No, I'm not sure. I don't want too much scarring, given that oaks do take quite a long time to grow out of scars, unlike something like a birch, for example, which grow fairly swiftly and can outgrow a wire scar relatively quickly. No, I'm going to remove this finer piece of wire. I've said before, the thicker the wire, the longer it takes to cut in, and I still think that's something akin to a knife blade. The finer wires act like a sharp edge of a blade and cut in much quicker than the fatter, thicker wires, which act well like a blunt blade, which doesn't cut as quickly or as cleanly. But I think I'm going to remove this. No, I am going to remove it. Why chance it? I can always possibly rewire it next winter if I need to. There we go. It seems to be holding quite nicely. So there we have it. I'm going to nip out a couple of these growths that are now extending a little too far. Seems a shame to lose that glorious colour, but there you go. I don't want it to get all out of proportion. Where possible, because this tree is quite open, I'm pruning back to a leaf node that's pointing in the direction I want the new growth to go. There we go, that'll do for today, and we'll pop that back on the bench. So it's the 6th of September, and my little oak here has done very well throughout that particularly hot period we just had last month. A little bit of damage around the back here. I think those leaves got particularly scorched, so I'm actually going to nip that off back to a healthy leaf, shorten that. Actually no, I want this bud to break in this direction, so I'm going to leave that. It's only partially scorched. The sun's sort of bleaching it out a little bit, but you know, there was a little bit of damage as the tree was facing this way, but and receiving the sun on the back side of it. But it has been ramifying quite nicely, putting out some interesting new shoots, so I'm really quite pleased with that. I don't think it's going to do very much now for the rest of this year. Oaks are notoriously slow growers, although in larger trees I've managed to get some of them putting on almost a foot of extension on one of my larger oaks, but I think this one's probably done all it's going to do for the rest of this season, so do a quick 360. I'll put it back on the bench and we'll call it a day for this particular video. Thank you so much for watching. Please look after yourselves. Do all the usual YouTube things, the liking, the subscribing and the commenting. Let me know what you think. Most of all, please stay safe, everybody.